Rapido, take one.
Universal, but that is universal.
I know you're gonna dig this. Take two. Next.
Everything's grooving, baby. Don't listen to the king, I'm gonna be learned. I listen, but no, if I don't want to learn.
Okay, Rapido, cut.
Hello my splendid British chums and welcome back to yet another edition of Rampaging Rapido, the show that will stop at nothing to bring you the kind of penetrating pop reportage we think you justly deserve. This week on the bill it's punk icon John Lydon, the London club Kinky Garlinky, New Jersey rappers Naughty by Nature, Bristol's Massive and a report on Smashing Pumpkins. Now, viewers, it's time to take that plunge and get to grips with a bit of Smashing Pumpkins. I'm not talking about a new strain of dandruff or something you might find lodged up your nose. No, not at all. I'm referring instead to the raw post-Nirvana rock sound that's all said to take the US of A by storm and which involves bands like Smashing Pumpkins and Seattle metal rockers like Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. It's noisy, it's sweaty, it's anarchic, and it's played by young men with absolutely no fashion sense whatsoever. Yes, sweatshirts, filthy jeans, smelly plimsolls, and long food-stained beards are all the rage when these boys come out to play. And that's just the way the girls in the audience look, too. So they might not be fashion plates. So what? It won't stop Rapido dressing down and making a lunge for the grunge right here, right now.
Last year, rock music experienced a minor revolution. The success of Nirvana made the record industry realize that rock doesn't have to look or sound like Guns N' Roses, and that Nirvana were just the tip of the iceberg.
If you liked what we did, check out where we've come from, and it's guaranteed you're going to find something you like, because the whole alternative underground scene is diverse. And there's something for everybody there. There's a lot of ideas, a lot of originality, and total sincerity. And beware of imposters too. I got to tell you that.
The search for the next Nirvana has already begun in earnest, but it's not simply music industry hype. Bands like Soundgarden and Hole are part of the rock underground that Nirvana's Chris Novoselic is referring to. And Dave Kendall, alternative rock producer for MTV, recognizes something new in these bands.
People are really looking for something new. You know, we had punk, and then we had gothic, and then we had rap, and then we had techno, and no one's really satisfied, and it's become acceptable to plunder the genres of the past, the 60s and the 70s, and that's what the grunge bands are doing. They're going back to music from the late 60s and the 70s, like Black Sabbath, like Led Zeppelin, and they're throwing in the spirit of punk bands like the Pistols and the Clash.
Smashing Pumpkins, one of the band's tips for success, were briefly on Nirvana's old label, Sub Pop. Although the Pumpkins accept that they share the same roots, they think the way the media compares them to Nirvana is wrong.
We never ever got compared to Nirvana before Nevermind came out. Now we're going to compare Nirvana. And we're even having people ask us, why did you, oh, you worked with your producer because Nirvana did. But people don't know that we actually recorded our album before Nirvana did their album, you know, so it's also silly. It's like people on the outside trying to pit bands like they're in a race against time. And to be totally honest, I don't think bands sit around and think of it like a race. They're not racing against each other. The race is against yourselves.
The crowd at the Smashing Pumpkins' recent Manchester gig made it clear how they felt, but the band are wary about how record companies are reacting. The strength of the new bands lies in their diversity.
people have to accept that this is the new movement of music. The new movement is not about categorization and putting people in boxes. It's about breaking down all those. I'm not like some 60s trumpeter, like this is the newest thing in music. I'm just saying that there's a hybrid going on that people are just going to have to accept.
It would help a lot if the record companies would accept that, because they keep struggling so desperately to market bands towards one group of people or another, and it's just not working, you know?
So far, Pearl Jam have come closest to achieving the same sort of adulation that Nirvana received. Their albums reached number 27 in the States, their singles gone top 20 in the UK, and they, like Nirvana, display a similar dress sense.
They wear on stage what they wear on the street. I think fans can relate to that more because they don't have to go out and buy a wardrobe to look like their favorite rock star. They can go to a regular store just like their favorite band does and wear what they wear. And I think it's more a oneness between fan and band than there ever has been. It's not, you know, I think a lot of the bands today don't want to be elevated to the role of star. I think they just want to be, you know, 4 or 5 guys who play music that their fans can relate to much more on a humanistic level.
Mark Ryder, head of product marketing at Pearl Jam's record company Epic, may regard the new bands as representing a more honest attitude to rock. But David Gottlieb from the alternative radio department of the same record company is worried about how honest the major labels will actually be.
It would be a sad thing if bands were now signed that really haven't had a record out or haven't toured the States, and people expect them to sell 300,000 or 500,000 records, which for most record labels is very profitable if you do that. What happened with Nirvana was a little bit of everything, and you have to respect that there were a lot of reasons for it happening, and there wasn't one, and everybody's expecting it to be one reason, and it's not, and it's going to be a mistake, and it's probably going to end up hurting a lot of people in the long run.